Hi, we're reading The Thing About Oliver, and we're up to chapter 8. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oliver has found the doorbell. Before I can stop him, he's running down the hall. I shut the front door firmly behind us and follow Aunt Janine into the kitchen. Mum sets the bags down on the floor and wipes her brow. Oh, it's so lovely and cool in here. Who needs air conditioning when you can live in a Queenslander? Auntie Janine opens a cupboard and pulls out 4 glasses. In summer, I just leave the back door and the front door open and let the breeze do all the work. I give Mum a worried look. Leaving both doors open is not an option with Oliver here. Auntie Janine pours homemade lemonade into the glasses for each of us. Mum and I take polite sips of ours, but Oliver's remains untouched. The kitchen lights are flicking on and off, on and off. Auntie Janine laughs. Mum does too, but it's a nervous laugh. Oliver's running from room to room on tiptoe, flapping his hands and humming. I hear a toilet flush. When he runs past again, I jump up and follow him down the hallway and into a small bedroom. There is a double bed in the middle of the room with a bedside table and not much else. Then I notice a stained glass window way up high near the ceiling. The afternoon sun is shining through, reflecting blue, red, green and yellow shapes onto the carpet. Oliver has noticed it too. He stares, unmoving, as if was under a spell. I reach for his hand, but he turns around and races back up the hallway, flapping and shrieking with excitement. Mum finally catches him on his way through to the kitchen and hoists him up onto her lap. To Auntie Janine, it must look as though Mum has just given Oliver a bear hug, but I know the truth. She's really just trying to keep him under control. Looking around the kitchen, it's clear that Auntie Janine hasn't had much to do with kids and that she doesn't know or that she knows nothing about Oliver. There are low shelves filled with books and ornaments. There's a whole cupboard filled with clay pots and bowls and cups that look like they've been painted by hand and are easy to smash. Mum grips Oliver a little tighter. She nods at the little handmade pots. Did you make those, Janine? Auntie Janine beams. Yes, I took up ceramics a few years back, but I haven't done much lately, though. I still have my pottery wheel under the house. Mum looks impressed. That's very good. Aunt Janine laughs. Well, only the best ones are on display. You should see all the duds I have under the house. I look at all the pots and the cups and wonder if Aunt Janine would let me have a go at painting one. Oliver's interested in pots too, but he's like an octopus. His arms are going everywhere. Mum is holding him tighter than ever. I don't blame her. Mum winces in pain as Oliver digs his nails into Mum's folded arms, trying to loosen their grip. Finally, he lets out a shriek of frustration and starts kicking at Mum's shins. Auntie Janine jumps up. How about I take you all for a little drive before dinner? I could show you some of the sights. Mum looked relieved. That sounds like a wonderful idea. She struggles to her feet and hoists Oliver onto her hip. I'll get Oliver's booster seat. I'm relieved too. Firstly, because we get to go in Aunt Janine's car, which won't stink like vomit. And secondly, because the sooner we get Oliver out of Auntie Janine's kitchen with all these precious breakable things, the sooner Mum and I can breathe again. Aunt Janine's car is spotless. There are no chip wrappers, torn up bits of paper, empty coffee cups or toy cups, just a single air freshener hanging from the rear view mirror. It must have been hanging there for a long time because I can't smell it. Thankfully, Oliver can't either. He's settled into his booster seat and is staring out the window. I stretch out my legs and wriggle my toes. Can you show us the beach? Aunt Janine smiles. Of course. Red flowers flash past the window again as we drive down Hibiscus Avenue. The river is just down this way, Auntie Janine points. I perk up. Maybe I could go swimming there once I learn how. There's a cycle track and a playground and a load of mango trees. Lots of people go fishing down there, but at the moment the river is swollen from all the rain. We crane our necks and catch a glimpse of murky brown water. Are there crocodiles in that river? I ask wearily. Auntie Janine nods. We do get freshies from time to time. She must mean freshwater crocodiles. They are smaller and far less dangerous than saltwater crocodiles. Even so, when I do learn to swim, I definitely won't be practicing in that river. Oliver twists around in his seat, and as the river disappears from view, water, water, he signs. We drive down a main road and Auntie Janine points out a huge shopping centre. That's our biggest. You'll find everything you need in there. Good, Mum nods. I need to take Tilly shoe shopping before school starts. And swimsuit shopping, I remind her. Mum doesn't answer. She's paying close attention to the road. She asks Auntie Janina lots of questions as we wait for lights to change. I guess she wants to be able to drive us around different places herself, maybe even to swimming lessons. I suddenly wonder if the pool is open in winter. Mum said Townsville is warm all year round. I open my mouth to ask, but Mum is still talking. I decide to add it to my list of questions for Aunt Janine when we get home. Everything here is a lot more spread out than what it was at home. I have no idea how I'm going to remember my way around. Judging by the look on Mum's face, I think she feels the same way. Around the corner from the shopping centre, Aunt Janine points out a bunch of brick buildings with a giant green oval behind it. That's your new school, Tilly. She turns to Mum. The uniform shop will be open the week before school starts. I bite my lip. It looks more like a high school than a primary school. I'll be a tiny damsel fish in a school of thousands. But at least it's close to the shopping centre. I wonder if I'll walk down to the shops with my friends after school, if I make any friends, that is. Mum notices a long strip of shops that includes a bakery. I might pop my in with my resume, she decides, just in case I have any work going. And driving around the city, I realise that Townsville is almost completely flat, well, except for one huge mountain smack bang in the middle of the city. That's Castle Hill, Aunt Janine explains. There's a fabulous view from the top. Would you like to go up? I would much rather check out the beach, but before I can open my mouth, Mum says, we would love to. We follow the signs for Castle Hill. After a steady climb up a narrow, winding road, we come to a car park with a lookout. We all climb out of the car. Mum grips Oliver's hand tightly, as though she's afraid he will be blown away in the wind. I lean far over the railing and peer at the toy town below us. It feels a lot cooler up here, and I can see the ocean. Aunt Janine points out Magnetic Island and the direction of her house. Which way is the Great Barrier Reef? I ask, shielding my eyes from the sun. Oh, the reef stretches right along the coast, Aunt Janine points. It's a good 2-hour boat ride out to sea, but it's well worth the trip. I suddenly wonder if Aunt Janine has ever been snorkeling or scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef, but when I turn around to ask her, she's back at the car helping Mum strap Oliver in. We'll pick up fish and chips before dinner. Aunt Janine drives us to a park right beside the beach. We sit at a picnic table overlooking the sea. Mum tries to get Oliver to eat his yogurt. Following him as he runs off towards the swings, I take a handful of chips and gaze across the water. There are no waves at all. I'm not surprised because I already know the Great Barrier Reef acts as a kind of a breakwall. But the water here is as muddy as the river. It looks nothing at all like the crystal blue water we see on the blue billboard driving in. I can't imagine snorkeling in it and definitely wouldn't want to go swimming in it. Then I realise nobody is swimming. The beach is deserted. I swallow a mouthful of chips. Where are all the people? Nobody swims here in summer, Aunt Janine tells me, slapping at her leg. It's stinger season. Then I remember reading about the poisonous jellyfish that live in the tropical waters. It looks like I won't be swimming at the river or the beach anytime soon, but at least there is a pool in Townsville. I turned to Auntie Janine. Where is the swimming pool? It's probably shut by now, but if Aunt Janine shows us where it is, Mum could take me in the morning. The pool's on our way home, Aunt Janine smiles. I'll drive you past it. But on the way home, Oliver completely loses it. He shrieks, twisting, writhing at his seat so violent that Aunt Janine has to pull over. Then I see and feel why. Mozzies. They must have gotten in the car when we stopped at the beach. Mum and I slap at the windows, but there's so many of them. Skip the pool, Aunt Janine shouts. Mum nods. Yep, let's go straight home. My shoulders slump. There goes my chance to find out where the pool is. Tomorrow when I ask Mum about swim lessons, I know exactly what she'll say. I have no idea where the pool is, Tilly. By the time we pull outside Aunt Janine's house, it's dark. Oliver's still screaming and clawing at his legs. Mum carries him inside. Aunt Janine rushes ahead of her to turn on the lights. I hear a shrill, chirping noise and look up. The sky is filled with bats. I wonder where they are going. It must be great to be able to fly wherever you want. If I was a bat, I know exactly where I'd go. Home. The only problem is, I'm not exactly sure where that is anymore. That's the end of that chapter.